know the idea of looking back, leaning back to a figure from history and saying, well, this person would have wanted this, or this person would have decided like this. In our country, in our culture, we hear a lot about the founding fathers. The founding fathers, this is what the founding fathers intended was that, as the founding fathers, right? Moses was a figure like that at this time in this place. So to sit on Moses' seat, what that meant was, this is the ultimate, if we could dig up Moses, if we could bring him back and ask him to decide the right and the wrong of all of our questions, ask him to give us guidance on every single little thing that confuses us or misleads us, that would be the best, right? That would be the ultimate. If Moses were here and he could say for certain. Instead, Moses is just in the scriptures. He's just in words from long ago. Our founding fathers and founding mothers and all of our figures from history, we can't talk to them directly, right? We can't hear from them in words. We can't see their facial expressions when they're saying the words. Wouldn't it be so much better if Moses was here? And so the Pharisees, the religious leaders, they claimed the authority of Moses. They said, well, if Moses was here, this is what Moses would tell you to do. Just like the people today. Well, if the founding father, this is what, if my grandmother was here, she would say to you, whatever authority we reach back to claim. This is what the Pharisees are doing. They're saying to the people, look, you respect Moses, you revere Moses. Well, we are now the ones who are in the place of Moses. And so whatever your question is, whatever your problem is, whatever, if you ever have the feeling that maybe we're not going the right way, well, we sit in Moses' seat. So we decide what is the right way. The Moses seat. Jesus implies that they're not up to it. They're not big enough to sit in that seat. He says, do what they tell you to do, but understand. Understand, you who revere Moses. Understand, you who see Moses as, if only he were here. Then we would know what to do. Understand that they are not Moses. They are not Moses. And we even know from the story that Moses wasn't really Moses in that reverence, kind of way, because Moses killed a guy. Remember that? Moses hit the rock when God told him to speak to it. Moses messed up, did wrong all the time, the story says. So even Moses wasn't always the judge that people liked to remember him as. It reminds me again of the founding father. It reminds me of my sainted grandmother and grandfather, like the people. Jesus says, remember. The Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. They're teaching you with their words, but they're not showing you with their actions. They aren't those who are living the life toward God, who are living the life of the fulfillment of the law, and you know that because you know what they really like. You know what they are really like, and you know what they really like. They don't. They aren't teaching and living because God told them to. They're teaching and living because it makes them feel good. Because they get compensated for it. Because they get respect, it says, in the marketplaces. My friend Bob and I were talking this morning about those people who block the whole aisle with their shopping carts when you're in the supermarket and how annoying that is. Well, the Pharisees love to be those for whom everyone moves the shopping cart out of the way. Oh, hello, Father. Hello, Rabbi. Oh, very good to see you. They love to be those who walk around in the world and automatically get respect. We know those in our world, right? Honestly, I'm not wearing it. It's in my pocket. That's where I medical facility, I put that sucker on there because I know that it opens doors. I know that people will ask fewer questions and will just, let me go wherever I want to go or do whatever I want to do because I'm wearing that. But we know that there are other things, other uniforms that people wear that automatically give this respect, automatically open doors, automatically make people go, oh, thank you, God bless you, bow down to you. We know that that's true, right? The Pharisees, Jesus says, are those for whom wearing the collar is the whole thing. Getting the respect, having the door open for them. No, you go for a sit in the best place. Come to my party. Let everybody meet you because you're so important. You're so special. Jesus says, don't be like them. Remember always that you are not a teacher. You are a student. Remember always that you are not a rabbi. You are a disciple. Remember always that you are not the one sitting in the judgment seat. You are the one in need of mercy. He didn't say that explicitly here, but he says it plenty of other places, so I can put those words into his mouth, right? I'm a pastor, after all. My flatteries are broad and my fringes are long. He wants to tell his disciples, the people who followed him directly, that they should always remember that they are the students. They are not the masters. And we know that that's something that is good for us to hear too, because how many people here feel like they are masters of the Christian life, of following Jesus, of doing what he was supposed to do? None of us, right? None of us. Now, how many people here, and everybody who was in my Bible study this morning needs to raise their hand, how many people here have ever sat in judgment of someone else? See, that proves it. We are not masters of the Christian life. We are not masters of following after Jesus. And you know what's great? Neither were the disciples, because we spent all summer talking about the church in Acts, and Jesus says to them right here, you are not to think of yourselves as rabbis, you are not to think of yourselves as instructors, you are to always remember that you are still learning. What did they fight about over and over and over again in Acts? Who is the best? Who has the correct teaching? Who has the right to be the instructor? And who needs to sit down and listen to the correct instruction? Peter and James and Paul, this is all they did for chapters and chapters of Acts, is they argued over whose teaching would reign supreme. I guess they weren't listening, right? Or maybe it's just that it's hard. It's hard unto impossible. When I asked my friends in Bible study this morning about something that they struggled with being judgmental about, something, tell us, what is it that you have a hard time not being like, oh, that's bad? We all have something, right? We all have lots of things. Gosh, I'll walk out this door later today, and I'll probably just judge my way down the street. Like, why are you driving so slow? Why are you dressed like that? It's so hard to not be like, it's so hard to not drive down the street and judge everything, let alone to move through the world loving everything. There's so much distance between not exalting yourself. I'm so glad I'm not this person, There's so much distance between that and being like, I love you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to feed you when you're hungry and clothe you when you're cold. I'm here to tell you that God loves you. There's so much distance between just not being a jerk and actually following in the way of Jesus. Actually remember that we are students, that we are on a path where all of us, me included, are down here on this level, right? We're back there on that level. We're out in the street on that level. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to do better. We're all trying not to perpetuate the injustice that Micah talks about. Trying not to perpetuate the system where those who can pay get what they need, and those who can't get nothing get thrown away. We're not good at it. Jesus knew that we wouldn't be good at it. I would imagine that Jesus probably laughed as he was teaching and saying some stuff like this, because I would imagine he probably knew that the people who were listening to him would form a church in his name and spend many hours and days and weeks and months and years deciding who among them was the greatest. Right? It's hard. It's hard in this Christian life. It's hard to be like a child. It's hard. Not just to refrain from being a jerk, but to actively love. And yet, we are called to do it. We had a long discussion in our Bible study, in the midst of our conversation about judging and not judging. We had a long discussion about what we are called to do for those who are hungry. And we didn't frame it like that, because that's easy. Oh, if you're hungry, we'll feed you. Well, what if you're here and you don't have the right paperwork that says you're allowed to be here? What if we're not sure whether you're actually hungry today for food or whether you're hungry for something else? What if we don't know all the information about you and so we can't judge whether you deserve to be fed? These are hard questions. The world is a hard place for exactly these reasons. Jesus calls on us to feed those who are hungry, to walk together with all, rich, poor, young, old, black, white, everybody who's trying to walk in the Jesus way. Jesus calls on us to welcome the stranger, to break down the barrier. And we don't want to do anything, right? We want to do it when it's comfortable for us to do it. We want to do it when it's easy for us to do it. We want to do it when it's right in front of us and we can't avoid doing it and people are looking. So gosh, we better act like we're holy today because everybody's looking. We don't want to do it when it's easier to do something else. My friends, my brothers and sisters, I love that we are together right here, right now, this morning. And I hope that you do too. Because we should be people who came together for this reason. To hear the challenging, convicting words of the gospel. And to remind ourselves, to be reminded, that our task, our life that we're trying to live, is out there in the world every day, following Jesus. I love this community, and I love being a part of it. But I hope that I always remember, and that you always remember too, that this community in here is only the beginning of what God is doing, of what God is sending us out there to do. There have been many communities throughout history, there have been many people in this position, in the Moses seat, throughout history, who have never left it, who have sat on that seat and judged the world in the way that they thought, that we sometimes think is our right, and our duty even to do. But our job, our walk in the world, is out there, down off the seat, with God's children, all of them, no matter what their qualifications, no matter what their paperwork, no matter what we, sitting up on the seat, would judge right or wrong about it. Jesus calls us to love and to serve and to humble ourselves. May we find the courage to do it. Amen.